really what led me into precious metals was more the big picture overall of the world's monetary system, where it got started. Um, for me, I just backed out and looked at the whole big picture. And actually, I wouldn't have looked at it at all, except I was looking at it already in the big picture. Yeah, so I want to use these ancient coins as well to talk about what really got me into precious metals, although I was into bullion way before I got into ancient coins, but I found that they do still kind of tie together. And when I first came across precious metals, I was actually in a certain mindset, and at the time, this is about 2000, late 2017, and early 2018, I'm not exactly sure, I think it was late 17 anyway, and there was enough going on at the time that I felt like, there was lots of misleading stories going on, lies being told, and kind of along that brainwashing, as I was saying earlier, and so that's where my mind was, and I was at a particular show in the mindset of, the big picture in the world and what was going on, and I have two boys and a wife, all who I love very much, and I'm just looking at the big picture, and so I go to a certain show looking for certain things, and more along the lines of, protection, life, family, health and well-being of the family. And while I was there looking for something else, I came across a table that had a bunch of silver and gold and precious metals. Was all set up, and it looked quite beautiful. And so I stopped and was looking with my son, and a guy got to talking to me, and I took his card, and eventually that's how I got into it. But again, I was already at a show with a mindset of looking at kind of the world in a big picture, and so, well, how does that have to do with ancient coins? Well, I find that for me, these ancient coins that I'm looking into from these early periods had such dramatic characteristics that, I don't know, I mean, it just almost comes to life in certain ways. Like, you can grasp something from something that long ago and see their symbolism, and that's kind of the connection that when I look at these coins, these ancient coins, especially the early ones in the 500 BC to basically to AD, especially the early ones, the 300s, and 400s and 200s, they have, and some 100 BC coins, they just almost come to life for me when I'm looking at them, more so than a modern coin. Maybe that's because of the history that I'm applying to it. But what I'm noticing, I guess the connection that I'm trying to make is I see these coins as, with all their symbolism, I think of the culture of the time and their advertising, and a lot of it's done on coins and the statements that are being made. And to me, you don't have to be literate, you don't have to understand the language. Oops, sorry. You don't have to understand the language to see what they're saying. And the way they almost come to life, it's like, in my mind, it's like another book says, it's the spirit that gives life. And I just see in all these coins, I don't really think it matters which area of coinage you're looking at. Obviously some did better and more artistic work than others, but with all this symbology included, to me, and just look at like Egyptian hieroglyphs, there is an understanding there of just understanding nature and understanding, the animal that they're using itself tells the story, some of the story in itself. And I think just that no matter what culture you looked into, they might have had different gods or goddesses or lots of them, but they all believed in a spiritual aspect in certain ways. I mean, just every culture had, you couldn't have went to those cultures and said there is no spirituality in the world. They just, whether it's, you're looking at it from the spirits of the air or the ground or the earth, or however the different ways the different people looked at it, there was definitely that side to it. And I find that in all the ancient cultures, there was just an understanding that there's a spiritual aspect to life, whereas I feel like today that pendulum has swung completely the other way, where we say there is no spirit and we just take it out of everything. But that's what's cool to me about these ancient coins that really interest me, is that you can see by going through their different coins and cultures, you get a sense and a feel for the time and what they were thinking and what these coins were saying. And to me, that's what inspires me to get into this type of stuff. I'm not, I would be more, I like nice new coins too, but I don't know, as far as getting into numismatics or spending more than just the bullion value, I like to get the history with it and get some of the reality of our past and how they looked at life. And I just, to me, I think you can see it in some of the symbology and work that they did, and to be able to hold on to it is very interesting to me. So yeah, it was just more from the spiritual aspect that I got into gold and silver, because to me, I was looking at the bigger picture, and to me, the deception of taking place in the brainwashing. And when I was already understanding that, okay, there's some deception afoot, and then you look into the monetary system, and oh my goodness, and so for me, yeah, for me, I think that there's been a deception in place for a long time, a brainwashing, a power grab. I mean, you know, just look at history. To me, that's basically all it is. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into it here, I guess, but you know, you look at all the past cultures and just go back to our past. I mean, it's all a struggle for power. And, you know, when you're looking at these coins, that's what all these, you know, you're sitting on the throne here. A lot of these old coins have this, and it was the ruler of the area depicts himself as the ruler, and often in connection with a god. Or a lot of people just say, well, it is that god. Well, and it's probably kind of, to me, a combination. And it's saying, I've been given the authority to rule. And if you believe in a spiritual aspect, then obviously you're connecting that with your ability to rule. And, you know, look at what, right? Look at these coins and what they're saying. And I don't know, to me, that's cool. And that's a reality of our past. And so we might not want to apply spirituality to much of the world now, but I believe when you look into our past, it was a huge part of reality. And, you know, whether you get into ancient coins or not, that might be a whole different thing. But to me, just looking at those early charts, you know, doesn't that kind of wrap it up, at least on the precious metals aspect side of things? So yeah, that's my overview.